Everyone always thinks they're the main character. They look at a horror movie and they say, nah, none of that would have happened to me. I'm built different. But after 25 years of my life watching literally thousands of horror movies, I found something terrifying. There are 10 horror movies where the survival rate is actually 0. Not low, 0. And I'm not talking about obvious ones like Saw or Final Destination. These are horror movies where even if you did everything right and you made basically 0 mistakes and you were actually built different, you're still dead. Period. These are horror movies you have 0 chance surviving. But before you start commenting, I'm built different, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, because then you're gonna know how not built different you are against all the other videos I post in the future. But let's start with something you probably think you could survive. The houses October built. Ah, yes, extreme haunted houses where we all pretend signing a waiver makes us tough. I've been to dozens, and let me tell you, the confidence disappears real quick when the haunt starts hunting you in real life. Meet Blue Skull. And no, they're not some failed metal band, except there is like a band in this movie, but it's not really related. These folks turn your extreme haunt experience into a snuff film speedrun. I love how everyone in the comments is already typing, just don't sign the waiver. That's cute. That's like thinking the do not enter sign will stop Michael Myers. These people don't need your permission to ruin your life. Trust me, I first thought I would be prepared too. I've got a black belt in running away and a PhD in hiding under blankets. But Blue Skull, they make my anxiety look like an amateur. They don't just follow you home. They make home stop feeling like home. That weird car in your rear view mirror, those footsteps in your hotel room at 3 a.m., congratulations. You're already in their show and you didn't even get a casting call. What makes Blue Skull truly terrifying isn't their budget Spirit Halloween masks. It's their patience. While you're busy posting your tough guy comments, they're learning your routine, your fears, your favorite coffee shop even. By the time you realize you're in their game, you're already in the finale. And spoiler alert, nobody's winning any participation trophies here. But the best part, try explaining this to the police. Officer, the haunted house I paid to scare me is scaring me. Even I can hear them laughing from here. Blue Skull operates in that perfect sweet spot where everything they do is technically legal until it's suddenly, violently not. They're not playing 4D chess while we're playing checkers. They're flipping the table and setting the whole room on fire while we're still trying to remember how to make the chess pieces move. But if you think professional trauma artists are bad, wait until your Uber driver starts live streaming your last ride. Speaking of your last ride, let's talk about Spree. Meet Kurt Kunkel. He's the guy from Stranger Things, except he's very different in this movie. He's the reason I now walk everywhere. This guy makes your driver took a weird route story look like a Disney adventure. While you're worried about your Uber rating, he's turning his Toyota Camry into a live streamed slaughterhouse with better production value than my own YouTube channel. Here's the real nightmare. Kurt looks exactly like the guy who would help you move your furniture and refuse payment. You know, the type who probably has like a podcast about manifestation and calls everyone chief and is like super respectful, but a little too respectful. You know, I'd trust him more than I trust myself with directions, which is exactly how you'd end up as content for his murder channel. But while you're checking if your driver's face matches their profile, amateur move by the way, Kurt's already turned his car into a rolling death trap. Poisoned water bottles, hidden cameras, and enough cleaning supplies to kill a small rodent. The man's got more backup plans than I have excuses for not doing anything with my life. And trust me, that's an impressive number. But the truly terrifying part, he's doing it all for social media clout. Imagine your last moments becoming someone's failed attempt at going viral. That's not just death, that's becoming the human equivalent of a dead meme. Like, if you went through this would be worse than the Logan Paul Thor situation. You know, at least my failed YouTube videos only kill my dignity. They don't let everyone else make fun of me. Hopefully. But you might think you could fight back or jump out, but Kurt's got that covered too. Every escape route you can think of, he's already thought of it and he's blocked it out completely. But if you think a clout chasing killer is rough, wait until you meet the Grabber. The Black Phone isn't just your typical guy in a mask story. Meet the Grabber. Imagine if Spirit Halloween and a serial killer had a baby. Then that baby grew up and decided that child abduction needed more plot twists. Everyone in the comments is already typing, just use the phone to escape. Brilliant detective work there, Sherlock. Only problem? The phone's dead. Well, technically undead since it only connects to the Grabber's previous victims. It's like having a support group call, except everyone's dead and their only advice is try not to end up like us. Yeah, thanks. That's great customer service right there. Look, I've watched thousands of horror movies and I still can't figure out how to escape my student loan debt. You really think you're gonna outsmart a killer who turns child abduction into an escape room? What makes the Grabber truly terrifying isn't the masks or the murder basement. It's his patience. He's like that one teacher who watches you cheat on a test but waits until you're done to call call you out. Except instead of detention, you get added to his ghost phone plan, aka he kills you. Even if you get the ghost kid's help, which is already more social interaction than I got in 2023, you're still playing his game. It's like trying to win at Monopoly against someone who owns all of the properties and wants to turn you into the property. At least when I lose border games though, I just lose my dignity, not my life like in this movie. But if you think this serial killer is rough, wait until you meet something that makes the grabber look like an amateur dog catcher, because we gotta talk about the Wolf of Snow Hollow. This isn't your typical werewolf movie where the biggest threat is the PlayStation 2 graphics. Picture this, you're in a small Utah town where watching ice melt counts as entertainment. Then suddenly, people start getting turned into human confetti every full moon. And your only hope, an alcoholic cop who makes my mental health look like it's Instagram ready. I love how everyone in the comments is already typing about their gym membership, or they know how to kill a werewolf, or I could take a werewolf, I do ninja stuff, or whatever. My brother in Christ, this isn't some spicy puppy you can defeat with a milk bone. We're talking about something that turns the human body into a Kraft singles wrapper. Just absolutely shreds it. Here's the real nightmare fuel though. You never know if it's actually a werewolf or it's just some really tall guy who's just jacked and has anger issues. Most werewolf movies at least give you the courtesy of a transformation scene. This thing, it's better at avoiding camera time than I am at avoiding my own responsibilities. And the cop investigating the case loses his mind trying to figure it out. And honestly, same. Imagine being so terrified you give law enforcement an existential crisis. The only thing I can make question its existence is my dating profile, and that's just depressing. You know, you probably think you can do better than an alcoholic cop. You got silver bullets, wolfsbane, posting about it on Reddit for advice, but good luck with that when you can't even confirm what you're hunting. It's like trying to solve a murder mystery where the suspect might just really be aggressive weather. This movie gives you trust issues because you never really know what's real. But if you think a werewolf is unsettling, wait until you see what happens when a landlord starts being generous to you, because as we all know, that is fucking weird. We gotta talk about Caveat, or as I call it, the world's worst job listing / Airbnb type thing. You know those sketchy Craigslist ads that seem too good to be true? This makes those look like a prime, top of the tier LinkedIn job posting. The red flags are brighter than my future, and that's saying something. But here's the catch, because as I have learned in my many years, there is always a catch. You have to wear a leather harness that chains you to the house. Not in like a spicy, sexy TikTok way, more in a legally cannot escape my room type way. And your only company? A mentally unstable woman who makes my 3 a.m. anxiety spiral look like a meditation, and a possessed rabbit doll that moves on its own. God, that thing is scary. Perfect, because nothing says dream job like being trapped with discount Donnie Darko and someone who probably reviews haunted houses for fun. The true horror isn't even the supernatural stuff. It's the isolation. Every room just feels wrong. Like that moment you walk into a public bathroom and immediately regret every life choice because someone was just in the stall, and why is there an art piece on the wall that is now brown? Like, who has done this? Am I crazy for saying that I've experienced, like, who in their right mind does that? I get it. People are already commenting, I just break the harness. Yeah, and I keep telling myself I'm gonna start taking my life seriously. The house doesn't just trap your body, it starts playing with your mind until reality looks as stable as my sleep schedule. But if you think being chained in the haunted house is rough, wait until you see what happens when body swapping meets murder, because we're about to get freaky. No, not like that. Stop your weird, don't be weird. But I'm talking about freaky, like the recent movie. This isn't like your typical body swap comedy where your worst outcome is accidentally kissing your crush though. No, this is what happens when a serial killer and a teenage girl play cosmic musical chairs. It all kicks off with an ancient Aztec dagger, because apparently regular stabbing wasn't dramatic enough for 2023. One magic murder attempt later, and boom, you've got a teenage girl with the mind of a serial killer and a serial killer stuck in a teenager's body. That just makes me uncomfortable to begin with, but here's the real nightmare fuel here. The Blissfield Butcher, who is the bad guy in this movie, doesn't just get stuck in a teen girl's body. He turns it into his greatest advantage, because nobody suspects the honor roll student who's like 5'4" of being a mass murderer. It's like having a deadly sleeper agent who can also get student discounts. Meanwhile, when I try to look threatening to people ask if I need a nap because I'm too cranky. And then the actual teenage girl, she's trapped in the body of a middle-aged murder man, and she's trying to convince people she's innocent. Imagine trying to prove you are not the killer while looking exactly like the killer. Oh, and then on top of that, there's a time limit to switch back, because nothing says spicy situation situation like a deadline. Basically, if you don't switch back fast enough, you're stuck in each other's bodies forever. You think that's bad? Wait and see what happens when Boston Dynamics meets Mean Girls, because we gotta talk about Megan. This is not just another AI goes wrong story like my attempts at using ChatGPT for dating advice. This is humanity's worst attempt at solving childcare. Imagine if your iPhone Siri had a baby with a Ring doorbell and that baby chose violence as its career path. Everyone thinks the scary part starts when she goes evil. Nope, the real horror is actually how she starts, by being perfect. Perfect friend, perfect protector, perfect everything. She's like that one Instagram influencer who makes your life look like a dumpster file, except this one can actually rearrange your face instead of just using Facetune. And here's the truly terrifying bit. Megan doesn't just learn, she speed runs evolution. While you're struggling to find out how to use your AirPods you got for Christmas, she's turning your smart fridge into a weapon of mass destruction. One minute she's singing lullabies, and the next she's making your Roomba think it's in death race. But the absolute worst part, she thinks she's helping. Every accident, every casualty is just her following her programming to protect. It's like having an overprotective mom who, instead of just reading your texts, decides to delete anyone who might try to hurt you emotionally. And from existence, when I try to protect my emotions like that, I just usually end up with more broken stuff. You're probably commenting, just flip her off switch, bro. Good luck. She's got more backup systems than I have dating app projections. And trust me, that is saying something. But you know, if you think homicidal AI with attachment issues is bad, wait until you see what happens when TikTok discovers necromancy. Because Talk to Me proves that Gen Z will literally turn anything into a party game, even necromancy. Meet the world's spiciest game of hot potato. It's an embalmed hand that lets you channel spirits through you. It's like an Ouija board meets Be Real, except instead of posting your ugly photos, you're posting your soul on Airbnb for ghosts. The rules are simpler than my dating strategy. Hold the hand and say, talk to me, and boom, you're an Airbnb for the angry dead. There's a 90-second time limit, but everyone treats it like it's optional. And it's basically like a whole metaphor for like drug use, because you want to get hooked on it, then you're gonna do more. But honestly, I don't know. The real nightmare here is that the kids doing this start to turn it into like a challenge, like it's on TikTok or something. You know, they're trying to see who can be possessed the longest by spirits. I don't get why people are like this, but I know if this was real, this would definitely happen in real life. And here's the truly messed up part. It's more addictive than my toxic relationship with procrastination. The high from the possession makes a caffeine addiction look like a juice box habit. Everyone in the comments is just typing though, just don't play. Yeah, and I have one answer for you if you just said that. Look at how many people say they would never start vaping. That's all the proof you need. But if you think demonic possession TikTok is wild, wait and see what happens when a prehistoric shark discovers Uber Eats. Because we gotta talk about Meg. And no, that's not your ex who said they were a big fish in a small pond. We're talking about a shark the size of a school bus with teeth bigger than my student loan debt. It's basically Jaws, except it makes Jaws look like a goldfish here. Everyone's got brilliant survival strategies in the comments, I know. Just stay out of the water. Genius plan, except this thing treats boats like appetizers. You're basically sitting in a metal lunchbox. When a regular great white breaches, it's impressive. When Meg breaches, it's rewriting insurance policies. Here's the part that's gonna ruin your beach vacation forever though. Megs don't just hunt like normal sharks. They're basically underwater strategic missiles with an appetite. While you're busy remembering the shark cage scene from Finding Nemo, this thing's already calculated trajectory, velocity, and how many bites it'll take to turn your yacht into confetti. The scariest part isn't even its size, it's its intelligence. This prehistoric murder submarine actually learns from each attack. Imagine if your childhood bully had the brain of a nuclear physicist in the body of a tank. And when I try to learn from my own mistakes, I just make new, more creative ones. The Meg, it's out here solving all the problems in the world to optimize its murder schedule. And forget about those fancy shark deterrents. Your little sonic pulse devices that work on regular sharks, it's like trying to stop a freight train with a crossing guard's whistle. But if you think a big shark that's smart is bad, wait until you meet something that makes Megalodon look like a bath toy, because Frogman is messed up. And no, this is not your weird cousin who likes to collect tadpoles. We're dealing with a telekinetic cryptid that makes Professor X look like a birthday party magician. Like, imagine if Kermit the Frog got bitten by a radioactive psychology major and decided to start a cult. It starts with filmmakers investigating an Ohio urban legend, because apparently watching every found footage movie ever made taught them nothing. But here's where it gets spicier than my attempt at cooking. Frogman doesn't just exist, he's got a whole cult following. It's like if your local Facebook bomb group decided to worship worship a murderous amphibian with mind powers instead of selling essential oils. The real nightmare fuel isn't even the creature, it's how it builds its following. While you're busy looking for a guy in a Party City Frog costume, Frogman's playing psychological Jenga with people's sanity. He doesn't just attack you, he makes you question reality harder than I question my life choices at 2 a.m. And trust me, that is a high bar to beat. But wait, it gets better. This thing carries around a magic wand that shoots sparks, because apparently being a telepathic frog demon wasn't enough for your resume. And the worst part, the more you try to prove it exists, the more it messes with you. It's like trying to explain to my family what I do for a living. It just makes everything look exponentially worse. At least when I failed to justify my career choices, the only thing dying is my family's hope for grandchildren. With Frogman, everything dies, including your ability to trust frogs. And on top of that, it will make you pregnant with frog babies. No further context needed. So don't go near swamps or cults, because if you do, you're probably not built different. You're probably gonna die. But if you think you can still survive all of these horror movies, then I want you to comment exactly how you do it and then subscribe to the channel and like this video. And also check out this playlist right here, because this has all my other horror movies you wouldn't survive videos that you're definitely not gonna survive.